Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Bundesliga Show, brought to you by Over the Bar with your hosts for one last Thursday evening. Well, that's certainly for the prediction show anyway. Myself, Rory Petre, and of course, Mark Broadhurst. Welcome back, everyone, for the last prediction show of the season. Matchday 34 is upon us. We've still decent amount to play for on the last game. We've still got this fight for 7th place in the Europa Conference League spot being fought out with 4 teams, and of course the relegation situation is still to be decided. So yeah, lots to play for. So some interesting games for us to work our way through predictions wise. Obviously, welcome back to everyone, that is joining us. It's been a very fun season trying these predictions. We've been trying different bits and bobs throughout the season. We've landed on this prediction show and we've had fun with it. I think hopefully next season we'll try and make it more of an inclusive and interactive show. I think when me and Mark have been discussing lots of different bits and bobs about how we can make it even better for next season. So please do keep your eyes peeled and keep your Thursday slots open as well, because we've got lots of end of season stuff to come. We've got end of season reviews to get out. We've got Q&A session to get done. And of course an awards evening, which hopefully will get done as well. So all that's come alongside the big Over the Bar drop, which is coming tomorrow. So yeah, we'll talk about that maybe a little bit towards the end of the show. But yeah, on with the predictions, and we'll just start straight into it then. So all the games are going to happen at the same time, of course, on the 22nd of May, being Saturday. So they'll all be going on. So all the drama will be simultaneously played. And we'll start with Borussia Dortmund hosting by Leverkusen. So on paper, looks like quite an entertaining game. Dortmund will be happy that they've obviously done their main job now and secured top 4 for next season. So they'll be able to relax into a little bit more. And Leverkusen, of course, have secured the Europa League football for next season. So both teams can relax a little bit. Dortmund obviously now can't really finish any higher than third, but Wolfsburg could, of course, overtake them. So I think I did this prediction based on the fact that I thought Leverkusen needed to win. So I've actually gone for an away win 2-1 here. So I'm not sure about that. I've gone a bit rogue from my last set of predictions. So yeah, I'll have to stick with it. Anyway,
he's giving me a chance, it seems, to end on a win. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, Leverkusen are guaranteed that 6th spot. I mean, it's not been a great season for them, really, has it? Especially from where they were like the week before Christmas as well. Top of the league, and since then it's really kind of gone off the boil. They haven't gone anywhere near the level of form that they were. For me, Dortmund have probably been the best side in the league for the last 10 rounds of fixtures or so, in all honesty. So I've gone for a 3-1 home win. I think both sides can just go and enjoy this game. So I expect we'll see a lot of chances, potentially a lot of goals as well. It could be one of those classic 4-3 Bundesliga type games, this one, easily. But I played it safe and I've gone for 3-1 to Dortmund, who will still be hoping to get 3rd place ahead of 4th.
Yeah, indeed. Moving on to Hoffenheim hosting now safe Hertha Berlin. And for that very reason, probably think that Hertha will take their foot off the accelerator. Not that they've been particularly fantastic for most of the season, but they have done well to obviously avoid relegation given the situation they were put into. So home win for me, I reckon. Hoffenheim been decent form, but yeah, again, not the best of seasons for them, but I think they'll end on a high. So I'll say 2-1 to the home side.
Yeah, I've got a similar pattern of thinking to you on this one, Rory. I think obviously Hertha Berlin have gone on that brilliant 7-match unbeaten run. As you say, the football hasn't exactly been scintillating by any means. There's been a couple of 0-0 draws in there at home against the likes of Bielefeld and Cologne. So it's hardly been like blockbuster football, but they have put together a 7-game unbeaten run. I think, again, this is another game where both sides have got absolutely nothing to play for ultimately in the game. They both achieve well. They know where they're going to finish this season. So I would imagine that Hoffenheim would win as well. They've been attacking a lot better in recent weeks, by the way. So I've gone for a relatively comfortable 2-1 home win for Hoffenheim there.
Yeah, very good. Moving on to another game that doesn't have too much riding on it, but does promise to be entertaining nonetheless, is Wolfsburg hosting Mainz. The home side, of course, will be buoyant after confirming Champions League football for next season. Really good achievement for them. I don't think many people would have expected that at the start of the season. I'm pretty sure I didn't predict that. So yeah, they'll hopefully cap off a really good season there. They'll probably want to end the speculation with regards to their head coach Oliver Glasner. Certainly lots of whispers around him at the moment, aren't there? So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of lies. Mainz, yeah, fantastic season since the managerial change, head coach change. They've been superb. So I think they'll give Wolfsburg a good game, but not good enough. So I'm saying another 2-1 home win.
Yeah, again, this could be an entertaining game. Two sides who can be very, very happy with the seasons, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously, Mainz, a side that we slated for the first 14 games, didn't we? I mean, they were dire, but since then it's been the opposite, and they've been probably the best team in the second half since then. I mean, a brilliant run for Bo Svensson and his men. But obviously, I think last week we saw a bit of a drop-off in performance when they knew that they were safe, which quite often happens from teams that go on these kind of runs. They got comfortably beaten at home by Dortmund last week, and I would imagine they will end on 2 successive defeats, unfortunately for them. I think Wolfsburg will want to, Wout Weghorst will want to add to his tally. I think he's on about, 22, 23 league goals now, so he's going to want to go a little bit higher than that. He might fancy this Mainz defence as getting a couple of goals. So I'm going to go for 2-1 as well to Wolfsburg at home against Mainz as well.
Yeah, very good. Moving on, next game, Frankfurt hosting Freiburg. Obviously, huge disappointment round the club. The home side, that is, in Eintracht Frankfurt, falling at the last or second to last hurdle with regards to their top 4 ambitions. Yeah, real shame, I think. On the whole, well, I mean, 80% of the season, you'd say they definitely deserve to even come top 3, arguably, but this kind of other segment of the season has really imploded for them. And unfortunately, you finish where you finish, and that's where you deserve to finish. So it will be Europa League football for Frankfurt. A lot of the squad may be chopped up into the summer, but we will watch that with interest anyway. But on the face of the match, Freiburg will obviously have a mathematical chance of still finishing 7th, so they'll definitely want to try and come do a job. But I think given now that Frankfurt can relax and just know that there's nothing more to do, I think they might actually go out and win this one and finish on a high with Adi Hütter exiting the role. So yeah, I've gone 2-1 for the home side again.
Yeah, I think this one, again, it's definitely a bigger game for Freiburg. But I mean, even if Freiburg win, they'd still need a miracle to get into that 7th spot, because obviously Union Berlin would only need a draw to finish above them, even if Freiburg won. Gladbach or Stuttgart, if they win, then they're guaranteed to finish above Freiburg. So yeah, I mean, obviously they'll want to finish on a win. It's been an excellent season for Freiburg. I think another point is they'll want to finish in that top half as well. I mean, at the moment, incredibly, despite the season they've had, they are just about in that bottom half. I think if they win this game, they probably will finish in the top half, which is a big achievement for a team like Freiburg. So that might be a bit of a kind of a carrot as well for them. But I agree with Rory. It'd be typical now if they go and put in a brilliant performance, Frankfurt, wouldn't it, when they don't really need it. But I've gone for a 2-0 home win with Andre Silva getting another goal or 2 to add to an unbelievable season this year.
Indeed, will it be his last game? Sorry, for the club.
Very likely, I would imagine.
Yeah, very likely. Man United might come sniffing around. Given the fact that
too good for United.
I mean, given the fact that Kane's likely to go to City as much as
really, I didn't know that one.
Well, that's the strong link at the moment. Yeah, we'll obviously have to see about that. Anyway, we're here to talk about Bundesliga, not Premier League. Next game is the champions hosting FC Augsburg, who are, of course, now safe for another season after their important victory over Werder Bremen. But, of course, will be out without the suspended Ruben Vargas, who, as Mark correctly said in our last show, probably be on his will be on on his jollies now. Be thanking his teammates for getting himself out of the hole. But yeah, it looks like a simple home win for me. This, but Bayern probably will win by a good margin. But I've only put 2-0 because I figure Augsburg will at least be competitive. So yeah, home win 2-0.
Yeah, I think for me, again, this is one of those games. It's a derby as well. It's the only Bavarian derby in the Bundesliga at the moment. And the teams are only about probably, 40, 50 miles apart maximum. So this is considered as a derby. I mean, it's not a massive rivalry, but because obviously it's so one-sided, most of the games between these sides. But I mean, I just can't fancy Bayern to keep a clean sheet at the moment, to be honest with you. I mean, they've conceded 42 goals in 33 games. I mean, that has to be close to a record for champions in the Bundesliga. I mean, it's a massive number of goals, well over a goal a game. It's almost close to 1.5 goals a game.
Yeah,
and it's it is something they're going to have to work on next year. So again, this kind of game, it's not always that predictable. I mean, Bayern Munich might decide to rest a few players and experiment with some of the younger players in this game as well. That's been touted as well. But obviously, Lewandowski's definitely going to play because he's going to want the record. So I mean, few are back against him getting that record here. I've gone for a 2-1 home win for Bayern, but this is one of those games. It could be like 5-3 or 6-0 or something. You just don't know what's coming with this one.
Yeah, very good. Let's hope that Lewandowski manages to break that record because it would be a serious achievement, really, given the games that he has also missed. Astounding, really, to have such a striker in the league. It really is. We are fortunate that obviously the Bundesliga is famous for that. So moving on to FC Union Berlin hosting RB Leipzig. Again, interesting game this because Union obviously desperate to try and hold on to that 7th place, but do face a very tricky home game against second place RB Leipzig. I do think that Union will be able to get at Leipzig. As we mentioned in the last show, the return of Geraldo Becker and Wonyi bring Union a bit of a different threat going forwards, not only to their kind of usual way of using set pieces and being very physical. So I'm going to say a 2-2 draw actually, and it might give Union enough, but obviously there's still a chance that Gladbach can sneak in. But yeah, creditable 2-2 draw, I'm going to say.
Yeah, I think a lot of this one depends on how much Union want this Conference League, because I mean, obviously it is the first year of the Conference League. I think the fans will want it, but at the same time, we know that German teams do struggle with a very big fixture list. A lot of German teams, especially the likes of Union, who don't have that much resources, to rely on like a core of maybe like 17, 18 players, and the rest of them are youth players. So they can't afford to have like 20, 24 players on the books. So I think basically, possibly the management might not be overly keen on Conference League because obviously it's a tournament with no real credit. Do you know what I mean? It's a new tournament. I mean, some would say it's tin pot, but I mean, for a team like Union, I think there is going to be some benefit in that, especially for the fans. I mean, I think we had the Union fan on a few weeks ago, didn't we? And he was really keen on getting that 7th spot. So, I mean, I think a lot of this game depends on that. I mean, if say the game's 1-1 with 20 minutes to go, but Stuttgart or Gladbach are winning, then obviously Union have to attack and try and win the game to get that 7th spot. And obviously, the other thing to bear in mind is it is an East German derby, this one as well. It's the only 2 clubs from the former East Germany in the Bundesliga at the moment. So, I mean, it's another one of those games. It is a bit of there's probably a little bit of bitterness there between the two. Who wants to come out top in East Germany? Obviously, Union have done really well against the big teams at home this year as well. They've not lost to any of the kind of big boys. Your Dortmunds, your Bayerns, they drew with. They beat Dortmund, they beat Leverkusen, they beat Gladbach. They've got a great record against these teams at home. But I've gone for a 1-1 draw here. I just think Leipzig, they don't concede that many goals, and I think they'll want to avoid defeat. But I don't think they'll have enough intensity to win the game. So 1-1 for me.
Yeah, very good. So the last 3 games now do have more of a focus and more of them on the relegation side. So we've got VfB Stuttgart hosting Arminia Bielefeld. The 2 teams that came up together will finish the season together. And will Stuttgart relegate their fellow newcomers? Not that they're either really newcomers now, but interesting game. Stuttgart, as we've mentioned, are chasing an unlikely 7th place, but still it would be an amazing achievement for them. They've had a very sound season, have been back in form actually as well. Kalajdzic has put together an astounding season, really has, and especially in the second half of the season, given their main man was Gonzalez, Nico Gonzalez at the start of the season. So I think just the desperation of Bielefeld might just be enough in this one. I know they don't score many goals, and Fabian Klos has not quite been there, but kind of feel like he's going to have a big say and have a big performance alongside Doan and maybe Volksammer. So I'm saying 2-1 to Bielefeld to pull off a miracle escape and stay in the Bundesliga for another season based on my other 2 results I predicted. So yeah, 2-1 to the away side.
Yeah, I think this is probably the hardest game to predict this weekend, because obviously, I mean, you've got to bear in mind that Stuttgart is still in that with a chance of quite a realistic chance as well, because I think Union have obviously got Leipzig, and then Gladbach go to fighting Bremen as well. So, I mean, Bremen aren't going to let it go easily. So, I mean, Stuttgart, I still believe that they have a realistic chance of getting that 7th spot. And for a team like Stuttgart, they do need to be pushing towards Europe. Obviously, they didn't expect it this season. But in the long run, it's a big club, the biggest club in the southwest of Germany. So they will want that European place and they'll fancy it. But I mean, I think Bielefeld has been a great story this season, really, haven't it? I think they were on every single person in the world spot for 17th or 18th this year, And I think they've gone so far. I mean, obviously, Ortega's amazing save from Kramaric to keep it in their own hands going into this week. I agree with you, Rory. I think it would just be so typical of their season if they were just to hold the nerve and win this game. I also went for 2-1 to the away side. But again, if Stuttgart really have it about them, they could win this game quite easily at the same time. So it's not an easy one, but I'm going to go with the Bielefeld boys to pull off a miracle survival escape.
Yeah, so the last 2 games obviously do involve the 2 teams below Bielefeld. So Cologne host Schalke in a must-win game, and obviously you couldn't ask for a better team to play in the last game of the season in order to try and save your bacon. But based on last week, I think Schalke might turn up and pose some threats if they go with the same sort of energy and kind of, well, they've got nothing to lose, have they? So I'm actually going to say a 2-2 draw. I think Schalke will cause enough problems and get out Cologne. If Cologne aren't positive enough, then I think they'll struggle. So I've gone 2-2, which, obviously is no good for Cologne, but that's how I see it going.
Yeah, well, obviously Cologne have to win, unless Bremen lose by about 8 goals. That would be the only way that Cologne could stay up on a draw, well, to get into the relegation playoff place. So they know that they need to win this game. But as you say, Rory, I mean, it almost looks too good to be true, playing the worst team in the league, one of the worst Bundesliga sides in history, at home on the last day, doesn't it? Almost looks too good to be true. And yeah, as you say, ironically, Schalke probably are playing the best football they've done all season. I think, obviously, Hoffenheim, they were 2-0 up at half-time, obviously got battered in the end, but it was a very good first-half performance. Last week was the best attacking performance of the season by a distance, And I think, for me, though, the problem with Schalke is that they still ship goals left, right, and centre. Obviously, even in beating Frankfurt, they still ship 3 goals. They still make tons of mistakes. So I think despite really a lot of pressure on Cologne, this is a lot of pressure. And it is a bit of a derby as well, the game. You've got to remember, it's a Nordrhein-Westfalen derby. So I've gone for 2-1 to Cologne. But it's a big call because I agree with Rory that I don't think Schalke will just give up. I think Schalke will be happy that they've got a little bit of importance to play for in this game, and they might kind of enjoy that, because most of the season they've been 18th, they've been nowhere near safety, have they, for the whole season. This is probably the first time that they've actually played an important part in the season, to be honest with you. So, I mean, yeah, it is going to be quite interesting to see how they do. But I've gone for 2-1 to Cologne.
Yeah, very good. And the last game that we're looking at is Werder Bremen hosting Mönchengladbach. A loaded game for all sorts of reasons. Obviously, Gladbach be desperate for some form of European football, even if it is the Conference League, and just to reset and go again. Werder, obviously, we've spoken at length about their horrendous run of form, their lack of goals. And of course, they stumbled again against Mainz at the weekend. Sorry, not Mainz, Augsburg. But for me, I can't see them stemming the tide. I think Gladbach going forwards, despite the fact that Werder don't usually ship goals, I just don't think they'll be able to score enough to be present in the match. So for me, a closer on the scoreline, looking 2-1, but a comfortable win for Gladbach to maybe push them into 7th place.
Yeah, to be honest with you, Rory, I see this one being one of those classic topsy-turvy Bundesliga games. I mean, obviously we saw Werder Bremen famously escape last year when Dusseldorf lost and Werder won on the last day. Then they made it to the relegation playoff place where they beat Heidenheim on away goals. So, I mean, this is absolutely massive for Werder. For me, they are the second worst side in the Bundesliga. I'm going to be honest with you now. I mean, going forward, they just have nothing going forward, really, do they, in most games. But I actually see them challenging in this game. But I agree that I think the thing with Gladbach is that they're a good side. They're still a very, very good attacking side. And they're still a lot better than Werder Bremen. They've not had the season they would have wanted at the end of the day, especially in the league. But we know that on the day they can be very, very good going forward. And I've gone for a 3-2 away win in this one. And I can see it being one of those topsy-turvy games where Gladbach take the lead, then Werder storm back with a couple of penalties or something like that. And then Gladbach sting them in the last 10 minutes with 2 goals. I can see it being something like that, this one. So, yeah, 3-2 Gladbach. Put a bet on.
Very specific there. I'll have to watch out for those two Werder penalties on the day.
Yeah, the only way you can score Werder.
Well, yeah, but yeah, anyway, that's it. That's the last prediction of this 2021 season. It's been good fun to do. I think Mark will have to practice a bit more for next season. We'll keep we'll keep a really good track on the scores next season. I think we've even got a bit of an idea to maybe do a bit of, me and Mark versus the fans or the viewers. So that might be a bit of fun. We'll kind of confirm all those sort of ideas in the off season going ahead. So everyone's ready, and hopefully we can have a really interactive show going forwards. But yeah, good stuff. Looking ahead to tomorrow, really exciting drop on the Over the Bar site. All the details will come out on Twitter tomorrow afternoon. So hopefully everyone's going to enjoy that. And yeah, it is obviously, it's slightly, it's got a link to the Bundesliga show as a bit of a clue, but we won't say any more than that. But yeah, we're looking forward to seeing it come out. So hopefully everyone enjoys it. And of course, we'll be back on Monday night for our final season review show of Matchday 34. So yeah, over to you, Mark, to finish off.
Absolutely. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what Rory's got for us to drop. Okay, so yeah. So let's finish off with the Twitter. Yeah, so obviously at Over the Bar FB to see everything football related. Remember to keep an eye on our Euro 2021 coverage as well, because that's going to be the next thing that we're really kind of focusing on over the next, obviously starts in about a month's time. I think, is it a month today? Actually, I think it's the 20th of June.
Pretty sure it's the 11th actually, but so about 3 weeks, something like that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's not long at all. And only 3 weeks or so. Yeah. So keep looking out for that. Yeah, and we're going to be posting. We've got a lot of plans for that. And yeah, also otbfootball.net, which is obviously the centerpiece of our work. So yeah, I mean, it's been great. The prediction shows have been great. I mean, we're looking forward to seeing you again on Monday night for the final week review of the 2020-21 season. But as Rory said, we've got a lot of stuff coming for in the future over the next few weeks in relation to the roundup of the Bundesliga season. So see you there, guys.
Cheers all.